on his tray. When he glowered at me, I shrugged and smirked. Couldn't get that fucker any more stressed, and he already was. He leaned back into seat and let out a deep breath, rubbing his face with his hands and calming himself sufficiently. We sat there in silence for a long while, eating and drinking, with all the sounds of the cafeteria surrounding us. Suddenly, Ch pounded his fist on the table with a loud slam that shook the food tray and nearly spilled his milk. I snapped my head up from the tray, slightly fucking shocked and confused. He was staring behind me, so I slowly turned and followed his gaze. Brandon was at the entrance of the cafeteria with her back to us 10 feet away. Newton was behind her acting like he was smacking her ass and chuckling at his friends. "They! Brandon!" Ch yelled from his seat. I spun around to face him. And he looked fucking determined. He's going to fucking do it. I was sitting with my mouth hanging open in utter fucking disbelief. Then slowly turned into a big fucking smirk, because I've been waiting for this shit for 4 years now. I leaned back in my chair and waited for Brandon to walk over. I knew she would. I could tell when she was close, because the look on Jasper's face got calmer, and he just smiled at her all fucking goofy and in love, like the stupid prick he is. My smirk was so big my cheek hurt. When she finally reached our table, she was standing there, all black leather pants and a comically modest amount of cleavage, with the same fucking goofy grin that Ch had plastered on her face. She didn't even notice I was at the table.
"Hey, Jasper,"
she chirped, looking a whole lot like she was trying with everything in her not to look as excited as she actually fucking was. My smirk grew, and I glanced at my girl's table, where she was sitting staring at the exchange with the same smirk I was wearing. Tit for tat. "Hey, have a seat, I wanted to ask you something," Ch said, coolly, swiping at his shirt, like he was mildly bored. Which we all know is a fucking lie. Alice sashayed over to the seat next to him, and I had to suppress the snicker that was dying to come out, because they were just so fucking obvious and oblivious at the same time. She took her seat next to him, not even sparing me a glance, and leaned forward with her arms on the table, doing the same shit as Ch, trying to look bored. I rolled my eyes.
"What's up?"
Alice asked, playing with a lock of her short black hair. Ch was fixated on what her finger was doing before he snapped himself out of it. He stammered uncharacteristically, shaking his head. "You pointed that pretty Friday at the Cullens?" he asked, like there wasn't a Cullen sitting right fucking here. Alice bobbed her little so fast I thought it might fall off and smiled widely at him. He smiled back. "Fucking pathetic." "Yep, me too." He shrugged nonchalantly. And with that, they were both lost again. Looking around nervously, not taking it any fucking further. I fought the urge to groan. Alice got a flash of something in her eye and smiled, reaching down into her book bag for something. And when she came back up she was holding a fucking Ziploc bag of black leather Ladyfingers. And suddenly I froze. Everything froze. Because Ch would notice that bag and the black Sharpie on it. He had been looking at bags just fucking like it for almost 2 weeks now. She tossed the bag on the table.
"Cookie?" she
asked seductively. Ch turned towards her then, and glanced down at that fucking bag, and stared at it wide-eyed. "Fuck me." Slowly he lifted his gaze to my eyes. And I was sending him every fucking silent message I could think of. Leave it the fuck alone. Don't fucking ask her shit. Drop it. Let it fucking go. I shook my head at him just to emphasize the look. But he wasn't having any of that shit. So, Alice he reached in the bag and plucked out a cookie, not breaking my gaze. "You make cookies?" he asked, looking pissed. Holy fuck. And I wanted to laugh at him for even fucking thinking I was getting those cookies from Brandon, but I couldn't, because I knew what she was about to say. And I was fucked. Royally.
"No,"
she chirped, eating a cookie along with him.
"My cousin, Bella does."
She smiled widely at him, before he coughed on a piece of cookie.